Hey everyone, okay, so today I'm going to be talking you through and doing a demo of cooking or baking your makeup, and if it's something that you think you should do, and I'm going to kind of hopefully answer your questions while showing you how to do it. So let's talk about the pros of baking or cooking, however you want to phrase it. The benefits are it photographs incredibly well, really well in fact, and will almost always give you a great picture. It also will set your makeup incredibly well, and for those of you who don't want to do shimmery highlights, it's a great replacement for that. The kind of, you can cook your entire face, but we tend to reserve it for either the highlighted areas or the contour areas, but we tend to use it mostly for highlighted areas. The cons of this technique are that it's a heavy makeup look, and it adds lots and lots of textures to the skin, and the more texture you add, the more build-up you add. So for an example, foundation would be one layer of texture, concealer would be a second layer, powder would be a third, blusher a fourth, bronzer a fifth. But with baking, you're adding an excessive amount of powder to the skin, which actually equates to probably 3 or 4 extra levels of makeup on top of that. So it goes for a really heavy look, so you need to bear that in mind. For women over a certain age, or those of you with wrinkles or any issues, especially under the eyes, may not be the best technique. However, I need to state again, it really does photograph well. So let's just get into it and you can see what I mean. Now, for those of you who are wondering if baking is any different from the buffing technique, which the video is here if you haven't seen it, you can click on it and it will open into a new window. The difference with the buffing technique and cooking or baking is that with this technique, you're dusting off the excess powder. You're not buffing it into the skin by making it become a part of the skin. You're just knocking it off. So that's the real difference. So it does leave more texture with this technique. So let's just get to it and you can see what you think. Okay, so for this technique, you will need a sponge and some loose powder. I'm going to be using Makeup Forever Super Matte Loose Powder, and I'm going to bake under the areas where you would normally bake for highlighting. So I'm going to start by tapping the area underneath the eyes and along the top of the cheekbone, because this would be a standard area. We would probably do the center of the forehead. Good point to kind of have in mind is don't wear anything black when you're doing this or your clothes that you're going out in. You could also highlight just underneath the cheekbone area. This would give a real sharp, defined look to the jaw or to the cheekbone, and you would kind of do the bridge of the nose as well. Now, generally speaking, you would then leave that for an extended amount of time to allow it to sit on the skin. How long you leave it is really up to you. You could then go and do your eyeshadow, because chances are the darker colors are on the outside area, they're going to fall onto this and you can brush them away. But technically speaking, leave it for at least 3 minutes, preferably 10. Just do the rest of your makeup and then we'll knock off the rest. So take a brush, this is my brush, number 14, and all you're going to do is just knock off that excess powder from the skin. You want to just get rid of the bulk of it and it will leave an extended highlighted area for you. Same thing, just knock it all off. Now, can you see here, just as an example, this area looks darker because this area in here is lighter. Another point to mention is I used a loose pink powder for highlighting benefit. If you are deeper skin toned, then you could use something like a burnt orange. Bobbi Brown does a great burnt orange color, so does Makeup Forever, because these are really brightening. You don't want to use anything too light because it could look really ashy on the skin, and that's not a great look. Also, because women of color, because you just have this gorgeous skin tone, you can also use a powder that has more of a shimmer to it, and that will really be flattering. So that's it, that's basically the technique. It is entirely up to you whether you use it, and the pros and cons are there. It really is just another way of setting your makeup. But unlike the buffing technique, there is more chance of texture on the skin with this, because you're not really kind of grinding into the skin the way you are with the buffing technique. You can also use a setting spray over this, and that would take away some of the powdery edge. Generally speaking, if you're going to bake and you're worried about lines and wrinkles, Then highlight this area here, down the nose, the forehead, maybe even a bit above the eyebrow or the upper part of the cheekbone, and stay away from anywhere around the eye area corner, the eye sort of area here, the inner corner, just in case, just in case. But there you go. That is cooking, baking, and leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. If not, I will probably find out on Instagram. No doubt I will find out. And I will look forward to reading them. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.